Okay, pause YouTube, 6-foot hacks here. Happy guys today, week 5 of Pokemon Full Glory Season 2. Of course, if you guys are excited for this game, make sure to hammer that like button down below and show for support for the Durham Druddigons. Let me know in the comment section below, guys, what you thought about this game or what you think about our matchup in general. So, we are taking on Crimson Seabed, aka Chase, the coach of the Detroit Steel Wings. Now, if you may have missed the team building video, a link to that is going to be down in the description below for you guys to go check out and see what the idea going into this match is and why we are running the Pokemon that we are running. Also, the P4G YouTube is going to be down there, as well as a link to week 4. If you guys may have missed week 4, we did unfortunately take our first loss, so hopefully we can bounce back and pull out a victory this week. And that's actually why I didn't do this live recorded, because I wanted to sit down and focus on this battle after suffering our loss last week. I didn't want to make an error in this battle and potentially take another L, because we do have a bit of an annoying matchup. Now, let's take a look at the team preview. So I'm very happy to not see the combination of Mamoswine and Salamence. That's going to make this matchup honestly a little bit easier, because it's two less hard-hitting Pokemon that I now have to worry about. However, though, the combination of Scizor plus Pelipper and the Sneasel is going to be really annoying. I have to find out if Pelipper is going to be Scarfed or defensive. Then if I lose my Tangrowth, the Mega Swampert pretty much just plows through our team. So that's going to be something that I really have to make sure that I do not let get too weak, or that I don't lose in general. So going into this matchup, I knew it was pretty evident that he had no good answer to Choice Banded, Adamant, Krookodile, so that was definitely going to be my lead going into this matchup. The only lead that he could have let off with that didn't pair up well against my Krookodile would have been the Pelipper. I've never seen him lead Swampert, so I wasn't expecting him to lead Swampert. I was more or less expecting Pelipper or Donphan potentially to be his leads in this game. Also, if I'm able to get Cobalion or Victini behind a substitute, they will definitely be able to put in some work and potentially get 1 or 2 KOs each. So that's kind of the general idea going into this game at team preview. With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get this started. So as I mentioned, Krookodile was definitely going to be my lead going into this matchup. It pairs up really well against anything that he would want to lead with, except for the Pelipper. And again, never seen him lead Mega Swampert, so it was pretty positive he wouldn't lead with that, as he actually ends up leading off with the Donphan. And this is really good for me, because if I'm able to weaken this Donphan turn 1, it's going to put it closer in range where my Cobalion's close combat will be able to knock him out, and guarantee that if he's not an Assault Vest set, the Energy Ball from my Victini will knock him out. So I really have no reason to not just go straight for the knockoff here. While I do carry the Aqua Tail, I thought knockoff was by far my better play on the off chance that maybe he for some reason wanted to switch directly into the Pelipper or into the Roserade. As he actually switches into the Swampert, I'm able to do a solid 52% to the incoming Swampert, and if I ran the calc correctly, this is definitely just an offensive Mega Swampert. And because I'm pretty positive that Swampert does gain a defense boost as it Mega Evolves, another knockoff will not be able to KO him here, so I am going to be forced to switch out directly into my Tangrowth, expecting him to just go for the safe waterfall play to knock out my Krookodile. Then, expecting him to try and switch into either the Roserade or the Scizor, I'm going to double out into my Krookodile, because I do have the Fire Fang on this Krookodile for the Scizor, and unless he's Aqua Berry, I can just straight OHKO him. And if this is not a defensive Roserade, I can also just OHKO him with the knockoff. So much like turn 1, I'm in a position where I can just click Adamant, Stab, Choice Banded, knockoff, and something is gonna get absolutely mollywopped. As you can see there, I do a solid like 95% to the Scizor, and the fact that I'm able to get rid of the Scizor so early on in the battle means that he only has 2 answers to my Tangrowth in the forms of potentially offensive Pelipper and Roserade. Now, if you did not see the team building video, then you do not know why Sneasel is not an answer to Tangrowth, and why I'm honestly not even worried about it. So he does end up bringing the Pelipper here. Even if he is a defensive set, there's no way I'm going to stay in here, because Krookodile is such a huge threat to his team. I'm going to make a switch directly on now into my Skuntank. Unfortunately, Skuntank is really expendable in this matchup. With it being in an Assault Vest set, it can kind of just pivot around the Pelipper and the Roserade accordingly. So it's really the only thing I had to take a Hurricane or a Scald in the rain, but he actually ends up U-turning into the Roserade. As it turns out that I'm faster than him, I am going to be able to potentially 3-hit KO him depending on his set, and it turns out that he's a substitute set, which I was not expecting. I guess that does kind of make sense because he could have subbed up on my Tangrowth as I switched out from it. So now that I am faster than him, I will be able to break his substitute and potentially beat this thing 1v1 as he pulls out the HP ground, and judging for how much damage that did, this thing is definitely rocking a whole lot of special attack EVs and the Technician. Now, I'm going to quickly pause this right here because this is kind of an important turn in this battle. Now, his best answers for my Tangrowth in this game were Scizor, Roserade, and Pelipper. So Scizor is gone, and Pelipper is still kind of roaming the field around, but that's not entirely too big of an issue. But right here in this turn, because I do have the Pursuit, he does not know that I have Pursuit. So I could easily go for the Crunch again, but the issue with that is that he would be able to save Roserade for later in the battle. Now, unless he predicts me to Pursuit and stays in and knocks me out, then there's no real way that I'm going to be able to get rid of this Roserade unless I do end up trying to go for the Pursuit this turn, hoping to catch him on the switch out so I can get rid of his second answer to my Tangrowth. Now, by getting rid of the Roserade, I can now freely spam Sleep Powder or Stun Spore with my Tangrowth, and that's going to be really good for me because I'm going to be able to nullify one of his Pokemon, and then I can take advantage of that. So I am able to luckily get the aggressive Pursuit play correctly, and I'm able to trap the Roserade, and in comes the Mega Swampert. Again, my best and safe switch in to the Swampert is going to be my Tangrowth. Even if you wanted to pull a double switch into Pelipper, as you can see here, he would have switched it in on his final turn of Rain, and because the Rain was still up, Drizzle wouldn't have activated again, so his Rain would have been gone as he had Pelipper in here. So he basically had to Waterfall there or try and pull a double switch into his Sneasel, thinking that he could knock out my Tangrowth. So knowing that he's going to want to switch out here and not stay in to get knocked out by the Energy Ball, I'm going to go straight for the Sleep Powder. I have literally no reason not to do this. Unless I miss, I'm still going to be in a really good position as I luckily do hit, and I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit terrified that he might have had the Sleep Talk, but it turns out that he doesn't, and Energy Ball does a solid like 53%. As this turn I'm going to switch out because knowing my luck, he's going to get a first turn Wake. So if I do want to sack something off to a Hurricane, it's going to be my Skuntank, and then I can make a play going from there. But he actually ends up sleeping for 2 extra turns, and what this allows me to do is get off a solid amount of damage with my Skuntank. Unfortunately, I'm not running a lot of physical attack EVs on the Skuntank, so I will just barely fail to knock him out, and then I'm going to drop to this Hurricane. But this is fine because I've managed to severely weaken the Pelipper, and Skuntank getting rid of Roserade was absolutely more than enough that I needed it to do in this game. Now this gives me a free switch into my own Scarfer, which is going to be my Raichu, and I make another little misplay here. Instead of going for the Surf, I should have definitely gone for the Grass Knot. Grass Knot might have not done much more damage than what Surf is going to do, but still maybe that extra little bit of percentage might have come in handy, as this Donphan is by far Assault Vested. Like, there's no way Donphan is going to switch in and take a Surf that well. So I'm going to switch out in hopes that he would actually just end up going for the Earthquake here. That way I could get a free switch into my Cobalion, then potentially Substitute or Swords Dance and go from there. But he actually ends up going for the knockoff, and that's not a bad play either because I do get my Justified boost, as I'm going to stay in here, and a +1, he has no safe switch into Cobalion. Now, yes, Donphan does live a +1 close combat, but the fact that he's forced to leave in Donphan here and take this +1 hit is actually really good for me because now it's in range of where my Raichu can just revenge kill it, and judging for how this match is going, Raichu can definitely win this game late game. So he knocks out my Cobalion after the close combat. This gives me a free switch into my Krookodile. Much like earlier, guys, I just click knockoff and something is going to get absolutely destroyed. If he does want to switch into the Sneasel, yeah, I won't 2-hit KO him, but he's still going to be taking a lot of damage from this knockoff, as he actually decides to switch out and just sack off his Pelipper here. This is perfectly fine by me because now this means if I'm able to stall out the next couple turns of Rain, he's not going to be able to get them back up unless he's going to be wanting to waste that one turn with Swampert to get up the rain, and as long as I have Tangrowth in the back and he doesn't freeze me with an Ice Punch, then I'm literally not even concerned about him doing that. So in comes the Sneasel. Very positive that he's not going to go for the knockoff. Like, his best move to go for right now is definitely the Icicle Crash, or as you can see, the low kick, which my Victini is able to just completely take like it's nothing. So knowing that he can't knock me out without a Z move, a dark type Z move here, I'm actually going to pull a switch back into my Krookodile, wanting to force him to waste that Z move on my Krookodile, and then this way I'm also able to get off the Intimidate on the Sneasel, and that's going to be really good for me, because if the Sneasel knocks out my Krookodile, that means I just get a free switch into either my Raichu, which is going to take a lot less damage from the Ice Shard, or I can then bring in my Victini, which will still be able to easily live a knockoff, especially because I do have the Z Crystal, which can't be knocked off. So he does end up going for the Dark Hole Eclipse here, and then the following turn I'm just gonna sack off my Krookodile here, but it turns out that I'm actually able to live on a small amount of HP, and I end up going for the knockoff here. I guess in hindsight I could have definitely gone for the Aqua Tail, but honestly, while this might have been a little misplay, it's not a game-changing in the slightest, so I am able to get off some chip damage on the Sneasel as he knocks me out with the knockoff. I can now get a free switch into my Victini, and as I mentioned, there's no way this Sneasel at -1 attack is going to be able to knock me out unless he does end up critting me here, so we're able to just easily chew this knockoff, and then I'm going to go ahead and go for my Z move. The main reason why I wanted to go for the Gigavolt Havoc and not go for the Blue Flare is because Blue Flare does have a chance to miss. So knowing my luck, I probably would have missed that Blue Flare and things might have got a little bit iffy here. So Gigavolt Havoc 100% ensures that I will be able to knock out this Sneasel at the amount of HP that it is at. If for some reason he wanted to switch out into Swampert, or the Donphan predicting me to go for the Gigavolt Havoc, which I highly doubt he was expecting me to go for, then I still outspeed the Swampert, and I still outspeed the Donphan. So down goes the Sneasel, in comes the Swampert. We do have the Energy Ball here. His only hope is to maybe try and get a Brain and then freeze my Tangrowth to win this game, but that is not going to happen because we do have the Energy Ball. So down goes to Swampert, in comes his last Pokemon, which is the Donphan, and because I was able to Mollywop him earlier with a close combat, he is definitely in range, where even if it's Assault Vested, it does not matter because he's going to get knocked out by the Energy Ball. So Victini going to be able to put the team on his back here near the end of the game, pulling out the victory for the 3-0 in the Durham Druddigons' favor. So of course, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to hammer that like button down below. Now, while Victini may have picked up the final KOs in this battle, I really felt Krookodile was the MVP in this game, just because it was able to apply just so much pressure early on and get rid of and weaken most of his team for the rest of our team to kind of just come in and pick up the KOs that we needed to get. So with all that being said, guys, you know what to do. I will see you all later today or tomorrow for sure, and next week definitely with week 6 of Pokemon 4 Glory Season 2, where we take on Mewtwo Fan-Nade, I think is how you properly say his name. I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head. But we face the coach of the New York Noibats, so that's going to be one hell of a battle, and I'm really excited for that. So with that being said, guys, I'll see y'all later. Later, everybody. Bye.
Cause my brain and heart are both tied in a knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.